8 contestants, all with a chance to win thousands of pounds. Only one will start in control. Can they stay ahead and beat the pack? Hello, I'm Jake Humphrey, and this is Beat the Pack, the show where if you can stay ahead of your opponents, you can win up to £12,000. Now, on our previous show, Maria, our invoice clerk from Liverpool, beat the pack and earned the right to return as our control player on today's show. So, Maria, come and join me. Maria, welcome back to Beat the Pack.
Thank you.
Now, you've had the opportunity to stand up and be part of the pack, and I enjoyed your game up there because you almost went unnoticed and suddenly you made it into the final. Now you're very much the centre of attention. So what kind of game can we expect?
Basically try to get all the questions correct.
That's a good way to approach this game, I think. Do that, you're definitely in the final. It's that simple.
Yeah.
What kind of categories would be good or bad for you?
I would like classical music, horrible histories.
Right.
Harry Potter, it tells you a lot about me, doesn't it? Not geography, not pop music. And when I say pop music, anything after 1977, forget it. I'm not up with these popular beat combos.
Love that. So you don't want a bit of N-dubs. That's a bad category for you.
Isn't that what you do with a tape machine?
Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. I think we better move on. Maria, you know the way this game works. You're starting in control with a chance to win up to £12,000. If you won that, what would you do with it?
I haven't paid my credit card bill.
Right. That's a sensible decision.
And go on holiday.
OK, lovely. Well, let's hope that you can do both of those things by playing a really smart game today. The only thing standing in your way, of course, is the pack. So shall we meet them?
Yes.
Here they are.
Mark, data analyst from Cardiff.
Nicola, finance team leader from the Wirral.
Matt, zoologist from Devon.
Amber, police officer from Central Scotland.
Mike, operations manager from Rochdale.
Becky, training consultant from Somerset.
Tyson, insurance claims handler from London.
So, Maria, that's the pack. The pack that you've got to beat today, and all 7 of them would love to be standing here with a chance to win your money. So, looking at them, who worries you the most up there on first impressions?
Mike.
Why?
I think he's clever. Well, I think they're all clever, but Matt, also certainly very clever, I would think, but probably within a narrow band of expertise.
Yeah, you don't get many zoologists in the world.
No, he's the first I've ever met, I have to say.
Right.
And Mark, similarly.
It's quite clear that Maria has named every man in the pack apart from Tyson.
He's young, you see.
Is that fair, Tyson?
Not at all. Not at all.
You got lots of knowledge?
Beyond my years.
Way beyond his years. Well, we shall see. Shall we take a look at the 6 categories that you're going to be playing today, Maria? Rugby, Romcoms, France, the internet, the Rolling Stones, natural history. Now, each category is worth up to £2,000. All Maria has to do is answer one question correctly from each category for the chance to win up to £12,000. But if she gets a question wrong at any time, she's out of the game. No second chances. However, if she doesn't like a question, she doesn't have to answer it. I'll just replace it with an easier one, but it will cost her. The money halves every time Maria passes. Now, the pack will be answering every single question, so if she does decide to pass and they all get it right, she loses control, goes home with absolutely nothing, and then one of the pack will take her place. Maria, shall we play?
Yes.
Let's play Beat the Pack. Now, you said you didn't want any music post-77?
Yes.
Rolling Stones? Would that work for you?
Yes, I think it would, and it might get rid of some of the young people who might be better at things like the internet, which I'm a bit of a computer Luddite, so yes, I'll go for Rolling Stones.
One more thing, Maria, before we get going. I will give you a helping hand during the game, where you will get the chance to give me 2 answers to any of the questions, a double answer. So make sure that you use it wisely, because you only get it the once, OK? Great. Right. Maria's first question is the £2,000 question on the Rolling Stones. Bill Wyman used the title of which Stones album as the name for his restaurant opened in London in 1989? Beggar's Banquet, Voodoo Lounge, Sticky Fingers or 40 Licks? Maria, have a think for the first time today. Pack, please answer now. OK, so you chose this category because you want to split the pack. You want the young people to struggle and maybe get rid of them early.
This must mean I'm a young person because I haven't got a clue. They're all good names for a restaurant. I think I'm going to pass.
You sure?
Oh, I'm certain.
You know the risks here? If all 7 members of the pack know the correct answer and you've passed, you're out of the game.
I'm gone, yeah.
Yeah, but you're confident that someone, or maybe more than one person, won't get this right?
Well, not everybody lives in London. And not everyone's even heard of the Rolling Stones these days, which is quite depressing.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
OK, well, let's move on from this one then. Maria has chosen to pass on the £2,000 question on the Rolling Stones. Let's reveal the correct answer. Sticky Fingers. I suppose it works with a restaurant, but that doesn't ring any bells.
No, I would have gone for Beggar's Banquet, actually, so quite glad I left that.
Well done for not playing. A good decision by Maria, but now we say hello to the pack and we work out just who has brought a big load of brains with them today. Who knows the correct answer to the £2,000 question on the Rolling Stones? Let's take a look. And only 2 of the 7 members of the pack knowing the right answer. A good start for you, Maria. That's good news. So, Mike, are you a Rolling Stones fan or a food fan?
I have to admit, just pure guess.
Was it?
Yes.
A complete guess. Now, you have to, of course, work out whether Mike's telling the truth, because he would love you to think that he's only being lucky and not clever on today's show. Alongside Mike is Becky. Becky, well done.
Thank you.
Have you been to the Sticky Fingers restaurant?
No, it just sounded like the most apt name.
It does, doesn't it? So that was a guess, really?
It was.
Yeah, OK. Well, the important thing for both Becky and Mike is that you are both through to the next category. A great start for you. Please go to the safe area. So, Maria, you've lost 2 members of the pack there. It could have been a lot worse. It means you're still up against 5 members of the pack. And the next question is easier for them, but it's also easier for you. So let's see how we get on the £1,000 question. Mick Jagger and Keith Richards were 2 of the writers of As Tears Go By, a UK top 10 hit in 1964 for which singer? Cilla Black, Vera Lynn, Dusty Springfield, Marian Faithfull. Have a think, Maria. Pack, please answer now. OK, now you went for this category because you said music before 1977 would be a good thing for you. This is from 1964,
yeah,
so...
that's good.
Does it work?
It does. Oh, thank goodness.
Absolutely. What are you thinking?
Well, there is a clue in that one of those ladies was the girlfriend of Mick Jagger. Vera Lynn is a little bit before that time. Cilla Black, no. And Dusty Springfield, not with that voice.
Right, so what's the answer?
Marianne Faithfull.
So you're definitely going to play. You're not going to use the double answer. You are confident. Marianne Faithfull
Absolutely.
is the answer to this question. OK, let's lock it in. If Marianne Faithfull is the correct answer, then this is a good start for Maria. £1,000 in the bank, and she can then choose which of the remaining 5 pack members to remove from the pack. Let's see. Is the correct answer Marianne Faithfull? Yes, it is. Well done. A good start. £1,000 for Maria. Well done. That's great for you. Right, let's start by putting £1,000 into Maria's bank. Well done, Maria. Now comes quite a tough decision. You need to choose which is the first member of the pack to leave the show.
Oh,
and this is
Lord,
a big
course,
moment.
yes.
Big moment, because you've got to try and whittle out the strongest players, because they will be a threat to you later in the game.
I am sorry, Matt. It's you.
Why, Matt?
He knows too much.
He knows too much. That sounded very sinister. Matt, I think the fact that you're a zoologist and that natural history was one of the topics today perhaps has cost you a place on the show, would you say?
Looks that way.
Oh, it's a real shame. And did you know the answer to that last question?
Hadn't got a clue.
Matt, I'm afraid to say that Maria has decided you're too much of a threat to her, so please leave the pack. Thanks for being here, Matt. Well, a really tough moment for Matt, but the game continues. Let's bring back the pack. So it's now Maria up against 6 members of the pack and our natural historian. Our zoologist is out of the game, so as we turn our attention back to the 5 remaining topics worth up to £10,000 for you, where should we go next, Maria?
Well, we've still got 3 men. So let's go for Romcoms.
OK, let's have a look then at the £2,000 question on rom-coms. At the start of the rom-com Notting Hill, the actress character, played by Julia Roberts, is promoting a film with what title? Coil, Helix, Atomic, DNA. Have a think, Maria. Pack, please give us your answer. OK, so category 1 was about eliminating the young members of the pack. Category 2 is about getting the men out of here. Is that the plan?
Not to get the men out of here, just that I don't think they would know because I don't. I haven't got a clue.
Take a look at those 4. Is there anything that stands out to you?
The word helix springs to mind. Oh, that was a terrible pun. I didn't mean to do
Very
that.
nice. Look, Maria, we've seen so many incidents on this show where people haven't gone with their gut instinct and it's cost them a place in the game.
No, but that's... No, I'm just not sure enough.
You sure?
I don't really feel like walking down there just yet.
OK. Of course, you could still walk down there by passing because if you...
Yes.
If you pass and all the pack know the correct answer, you will be walking down there, you will be leaving the show. You're confident that won't happen?
It's a calculated guess. Purely based on a piece of sexism, really.
Yeah, I've spotted that. Absolutely. OK, so, Maria, really big moment for you. Play or pass?
Pass.
Maria is going to pass on the £2,000 question on rom-coms. She thought the correct answer might be...
Helix, possibly.
But she wasn't sure enough to go for it. Let's reveal the correct answer to this question. It was Helix. All right, well, the only danger to you now, then, is that the 6 pack members all know the correct answer to this. And as we both know, the chances of all 6 at this stage of the game getting the correct answer is pretty slim, right? OK. Let's see how many of the pack knew the right answer. If it's all of you, Maria goes home. Oh, Maria, they did all know the correct answer. That is a shock when 6 pack members all get the right answer like that.
Well, shame on me for being sexist.
So, Tyson, maybe you'd like to explain to us how you got that right.
Well, I've seen the movie.
Right.
And Helix just clicked to me.
Mike, you a big fan of Julia Roberts or a big fan of the movie?
Big fan of Julia Roberts, maybe.
Yeah, I think we all are. And did you know the right answer, or was that a guess?
It was a guess.
OK. And finally, Mark, Maria had very little faith in you, but you obviously knew the right answer. How come?
It just seemed the most logical of the 4 options, and we can go with our gut, so...
Can. Well, the pack can answer with their gut feeling. Sadly, Maria, if you do that, the risks are great. And on this occasion, you decided not to go with your gut instinct, and it's cost you a place in the game.
Never mind.
I'm so sorry, but thank you so much for playing. Maria, you failed to beat the pack.
Never mind.
OK, bye-bye. Caution can be costly in this game, can't it? So Maria's gone, and so is the £1,000 that she banked. A real shame for her. But good news, of course, for the pack, because someone is about to replace Maria. I can reveal the strongest pack member until this point is... Becky! Hello, welcome. So you're clearly not at all bothered then that you were the strongest member, no?
Yeah, I'm a little bit, yeah, obviously.
Great
but
reaction.
no, I'm really pleased.
Well done.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I am a training consultant. I live in Somerset, originally from Birmingham. You can probably tell by the accent.
Little bit, yeah, I did spot that.
Yeah. Do a lot of travelling. Got a wonderful family. Husband, daughter, dog.
Right, OK. Sadly, travelling husbands, daughters and dogs are not the categories that are up for
I
grabs
know.
today. You've got rugby, France, the internet and natural history standing in your way. Now, in total, they're worth £8,000 to you.
OK.
What would you do with that money?
I'm actually taking my husband to Svalbard in Norway for his 50th this year.
Great.
So we're going off to see polar bears. So I would probably use it to pay for that.
Yeah, we'd love to help you do that. That would be wonderful. So,
OK.
shall we play it?
Let's play it.
OK. Let's play Beat the Pack. Right. Taking a look at those 4 categories then, what's your reaction to them?
There's 2 categories that I'm drawn to.
Which ones?
Which is France and the internet. But then who knows what questions are going to come up, so I'm going to have to whittle it down between those 2. And I think I'm going to have to go with the internet.
And let's have a look at the £2,000 question. What name was given to the computer virus created in 1971 that is often said to have been the first one ever? Creeper, Roma, Seeker, Slammer. Becky, have a think. Pack, please give us your answer. All right, Becky. At this point, would you rather be back in the pack? Or are you really, rather than here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Becky, this is where you win the money.
Yeah, I know. I know.
This is the place to be.
There was something that I was hoping was going to come up.
What was it?
Trojan.
Right, we've all heard of the Trojan virus, yeah.
And it's not there. So that's interesting. If I was going to be drawn to any of them, it would probably be Roma. But that... I've got nothing to base that on. I'm thinking, will every member of the pack get this right?
I would imagine, though, that quite a few of the pack weren't even born in 1971.
Well, yes. Tyson, there's no way you were around in 1971.
Either that or you used some amazing moisturiser.
Absolutely. Or Amber or Nicola. So I am going to pass.
OK, so Becky's chosen to pass on the £2,000 question on the internet, even though she thought it might be Roma. Now, you know the risks associated with this. If all of the pack, the remaining 5 members of the pack, know the correct answer, your game has not lasted very long.
No.
No. OK. Let's first of all reveal the correct answer to this question.
I wouldn't have even said that if I'd have gone for 2.
Makes it the right decision. So you have made the right decision, but now the fate of your game rests in the hands of those 5 people.
Absolutely.
If the pack knew the right answer, Becky's off home. Let's see who got it right. And 3 of the pack knew the right answer. Mark, Amber and Mike, well done to you. So, Mark, was that a tough question for you or quite easy?
That was quite tough. It just seemed the sort of most computery, geeky sort of title to give it.
Right, you must know some good computery, geekery titles, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. So you must be relieved you got the right answer. I would imagine you're...
I would have taken a bit of abuse from my friends if I hadn't. Yeah.
Man, absolutely you would have done. Amber, well done. Was that a guess from you?
It kind of seemed a bit logical. Viruses creep through systems, so I got to it that way round.
And Mike, what about you?
I thought I'd heard it before, either creeper or seeker, but I sort of went with the same thing, sort of worm creeping about, that type of thing.
Well, Mike, Amber, Mark, well done. You all knew the right answer. Not only does this put you through to the next category, but it makes you safe for now. So please make your way to the safe area. So now we move on.
OK.
The next question is easier for you, Becky, but it's also easier for the pack, and there's now just 2 members of the pack.
OK.
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 The next question is worth £1,000. In internet domain names, .be is the code for which country? Belarus, Belize, Belgium, Brazil. Becky, have a think. Tyson and Nicola, please answer now. So you're up against two people that I would imagine probably spend quite a bit of time surfing the internet.
Yep.
There's only two of them. The chances of them both knowing the answer are greater.
Yep.
All of which ramps the pressure up on you to decide whether to play or pass.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm going to play.
Why?
Because the first thing that I thought before the four answers came up was Belgium. Belgium is one of the main European countries. I don't think it would be Brazil, because I would have thought that would be BR. So I'm going to play it.
Becky's brought bravery to the table. Love it when this
stupidity?
happens. No, let's call it bravery for now. Tell you what, we'll find out in about a minute if it's stupidity.
Okay.
At the moment, it's definitely bravery.
Okay.
So what's the answer?
I am going to go for Belgium.
OK, let's lock in Belgium. If it's the right answer, brilliant, perfect. £1,000, on we go. If it's wrong, you walk away with nothing.
Okay.
Let's see if Belgium is the correct answer. Well done! Becky, well done. That's brilliant.
Thank you.
That's really good. And just for the record, Belarus is BY, Belize is BZ, Brazil is indeed, as you said,
BR.
BR. Well done. That was really good. That was a brave moment. That bravery has just earned you £1,000.
Great.
Well done. Now we turn our attention to Tyson and Nicola. The two remaining members of the pack. They're both vulnerable, and you have to choose who leaves.
Oh, it's so hard when there's only two of them and they're both so lovely. I think I'm going to even things up a little bit. I'm really sorry, Nicola.
It's okay.
But I'm going to choose you.
OK. Well, Nicola, sadly, it seems that just because you were a girl,
I'm sorry, Nicola.
Becky's decided that you need to leave the pack. Incidentally, did you know the correct answer to the last question?
Nope. But if I was Becky, I'd be worried about the rugby question.
Would you?
Because you just kept all the men in.
And would you be good at the rugby?
Nope.
OK, so you think that perhaps Becky made a slightly bad decision just
Only
then?
because there's a sports question up there, yeah.
OK, well, it would have been two men left in the pack. As it is, it's three. Because, Nicola, Becky's decided that you need to be the next to leave. So please, leave the pack. Shall we move on?
Yes, let's move on.
Let's bring back the pack. You're now halfway through the game. All we need is 3 correct answers from you, and you're in the final.
Okay.
Not only that, those 3 categories are worth up to £6,000.
Okay.
You know, you've talked about going to Svalbard.
Yes.
It would make a real difference to that holiday.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right, Becky. Rugby, France, natural history. Where next?
I am going to go for France.
France is Becky's next category. This first question is worth £2,000. Which of these French cities is geographically closest to France's border with Italy? Cannes, Marseille, Toulouse or Lyon? Becky, have a think. Pack, please answer now. Right. Are you going to play or pass?
Just trying to think how France is connected to Italy, and I don't think it's connected at the bottom. So I'm inclined to think that Cannes is out of the picture. What I'm struggling with is the geographical location of the other 3.
Right.
Marseille, I'm trying to think whereabouts that is. I'm inclined to think that that's maybe more central. Lyon, haven't a clue. Toulouse, haven't a clue.
So of 3 of the 4 answers,
Yeah,
you haven't a clue.
haven't a clue.
Right. Are you going to play or pass?
OK, I am going to use my double answer.
More bravery. OK, so Becky's going to play the £2,000 question, and she's going to do so with her double answer. So let's lock that in now. Now, this is going to be fascinating because merely moments ago, you looked at Marseille, Toulouse and Lyon and said, you simply don't have a clue.
Yep.
Can you rule any of those 4 out?
Only can, I think.
You can or you cannot?
I don't know. So thinking about the boot of Italy that comes out.
Hold on. You've already decided to play, and now you're deciding to work out whether you know the right answer. They're slightly back to front, right?
I know.
Maybe the best approach is to lock in the answer that you think is the most likely and then try and find a backup.
Okay, so the one I'm going to go for is Marseille.
Okay,
yeah.
so Becky thinks Marseille is the most likely answer to this question. Let's lock in Marseille. What's your second answer?
I'm going to go with Cannes.
You are going to go with Cannes, okay. Let's lock in Cannes as Becky's second answer to this question. And now you've locked it in, how sure are you about Cannes?
Not sure at all.
Not at all?
No. In fact, it was the one I was certain it wasn't.
Okay. Is, by some remarkable, strange twist of fate, Cannes the correct answer to this question? Okay. And Cannes is around 50 miles from the Italian border. Becky,
Who'd have thought?
that has saved your game.
I know.
It's moved you into the next category. It's got you £2,000. Wow, let's add that money to the bank. Amazing, amazing. You're now on to the next category. You've got £3,000 in the bank. And not only that, all 4 remaining members of the pack are vulnerable. So whoever's worried you the most, whoever you think is the cleverest, you can now say goodbye to them.
Well, Mike, I'm sorry. It's going to have to be you. I think you're probably one of the strongest contestants.
I tell that as a compliment, thank you.
Do take it as such. I think you're probably going to be a big threat. So, yeah, I'm going to say goodbye to Mike.
Mike, I'm afraid that Becky has singled you out. She thinks you're a little bit too clever for her. We must ask you to leave the pack. Thank you for playing, Mike.
Thank you.
Becky, you're 2 categories away from the final.
I know.
Is your heart starting to race?
Yes.
Listen to this, then.
Don't.
The 2 final categories
I know.
are worth up to £4,000, which means you could still walk away today with £7,000.
Yeah.
So think about what you know.
Yep.
Think about who's left.
Yep.
Where next?
I'm going for rugby.
Why?
Because if I'm lucky enough to get through to the final round, I think I stand a better chance with natural history than I do rugby.
Right. Rugby. Let's go. This is the £2,000 question on rugby. When England won the World Cup in 2003, which player was the team captain? Johnny Wilkinson, Lawrence Dallaglio, Martin Johnson, Matt Dawson. Becky, get thinking. Pack, get answering. So Mark, Amber and Tyson have locked in their answer to this question. Do you remember the World Cup win back in 2003?
Yeah.
OK. What do you remember about it?
I think it was Johnny Wilkinson.
Why?
That was the captain. I wouldn't have thought it was Matt Dawson because I would have thought that was quite a while after his career ended.
Right.
But then you see it may well have been Martin Johnson.
Lawrence Dallaglio?
Yeah, Lawrence Dallaglio, he's the big bald-headed guy, isn't he?
Before you make that decision, take into account the pack as well.
Yep.
If you play and get it wrong, it's game over.
Yep.
You can always pass. We'll go on to the easier question. But if you're going to pass, you must be sure that the 3 pack members don't know the right answer. Now look at that smile from Amber. She just looked over here and gave you a really disarming grin. What does that mean?
I think she possibly knows the answer.
And it's trying to make you think that maybe she doesn't. you
Yep.
think? Tyson? Tyson, don't do that suave,
He's
sophisticated.
so cool.
Isn't he? And what about Mark?
Bless him.
What do you want to do? Play or pass?
My gut reaction when that came up was Johnny Wilkinson.
Right. How much do you want to trust your gut instinct on this?
Let's just say it helped me out with can.
You don't have the double answer available.
No,
After this, you're one category from the final,
I know.
and you want to play the £2,000 question.
Yes.
This is brilliant.
It's silly.
Well, we'll see. Right. Here comes the moment of truth, Becky.
I'm going to play Johnny Wilkinson.
Let's lock in Johnny Wilkinson. There's no going back now.
Yeah.
If this is the wrong answer, not only have you lost £3,000, you've lost the chance for another £4,000.
I know.
If it's the right answer, we go into the very last category, and you'll have £5,000 in the bank. Is the correct answer to the £2,000 question Johnny Wilkinson? Oh. Becky, it wasn't. It wasn't Johnny Wilkinson. I so wish it was. I would love you to have taken that £2,000. I've really enjoyed standing next to you and watching you play this game.
Thank you.
And that bravery that really helped you in the last round, perhaps was your undoing on this occasion.
Probably, yeah.
Shall we have a look at the correct answer?
Yeah. I hope it wasn't Martin Johnson, because that's the other one I would have gone for.
Well, disappointingly, Becky, this is the correct answer. You nearly went for that.
I did.
Why did you rule him out so quickly?
I was just convinced, I was absolutely convinced it was Johnny Wilkinson, but oh well. One of those things.
Becky, it's those decisions that make or break games on Beat the Pack.
Yeah.
Now, I think it's really important to know that if you'd have chosen to pass, all 3 pack members got the right answer.
Oh, right,
And
okay.
you would have walked away
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
So
okay.
the only way to have saved your game on that question was to give me the answer, Martin Johnson.
Yeah, okay.
You didn't beat the pack,
No, I didn't.
but have a great time in Svalbard anyway.
I
And
will
Becky,
do.
thank you very much for playing.
you.
Lovely to meet you. Take care. A real shame for Becky. Sadly, the bravery cost her. She's gone, and so is the £3,000 that she banked. But it's good news for one of the pack, because somebody is about to gain control. And I can reveal the strongest pack member until this point is... Mark! Mark, down you come. Well, hello there. How are you?
Surprised.
Why are you surprised? You've played a good game.
I thought Amber may have topped me because she might have got can right. No, I didn't. So,
Right. Well, you've been the best player up there. How have you found being in the pack?
it's been quite nice, actually, because like, a couple of times I had no clue, and you could just take a stab at it, whereas down here, you could just see they were really under pressure.
You've joined us with one category to go, which means you can win up to £2,000 today. What would you spend the money on?
Well, I never actually had an official sort of honeymoon with my wife. We went to Great Yarmouth for 2 days, so I think I might try and treat her to something a bit...
Mark, I'm from Norfolk. That is definitely not an official honeymoon, let me tell you that. So where would you go?
I think she'd quite like to go to Dublin, so that would be a possible.
You were part of the pack, Mark. The aim of the game now is to try and beat them. So should we do our best?
We'll try.
Right, let's do it. Let's play Beat the Pack. And the great news for you is you have come in at what many people think is the perfect time to take control, one category from the final. So what's your natural history knowledge like?
We're about to find out.
Indeed we are, indeed we are. OK, well, the good news is you do still have the double answer.
Indeed.
This category is worth £2,000. Get the first question right, you're in the final with £2,000.
Indeed.
Ready to do it?
Yep, let's go for it.
OK, so natural history is our very last category. And let's have a look at the £2,000 question. Which of these dinosaurs is believed to have existed first? Triceratops, Stegosaurus, Tyrannosaurus, Velociraptor. Mark, have a think. Tyson, Amber, please answer now. Now, at this stage, it's as much about you as it is about the pack. And interestingly, everyone was very nervous about the older pack members, thinking they had some great life experience. Yet it's Amber and Tyson who've managed to survive. Who's the better player out of those two?
Simply because she's actually been on the couch, I'd probably say Amber.
OK. And do you think Amber and Tyson would know the answer to this question?
Possibly.
So does that push you towards giving us an answer?
Well, I have to.
What do you think the answer is?
I think it's Stegosaurus, simply because I know Velociraptors were very late. Tyrannosaurus Rex was very late. And also they fought Triceratops. So again, I think they're all sort of the same area. And also Stegosaurus was a bit of a sort of more lumpy, not quite so slick looking dinosaur. So I think that's probably the answer.
So they hadn't progressed on. Early dinosaur.
Yeah.
Right. So here's the decision. You need to work out whether you want to play or pass. Now, if you pass with only 2 members of the pack up against you, you don't need me to tell you that the chances of them both getting it right is higher, which would end your game.
Yeah.
If you decide to give me an answer and you give me the wrong answer, your game ends anyway.
Yep.
Give me the correct answer, you've got £2,000 and you're in the final with a chance to win that money.
Yeah. I'm certainly going to take my double dip, I think, and I'm going to play.
Mark is going to play on the £2,000 question. What a great way to end this game. So let's lock in Mark's double answer. Give us your first answer, Mark.
Stegosaurus.
And secondly?
Tyrannosaurus, just in case it's an earlier version.
OK, so this is Tyrannosaurus as his second answer. Mark has chosen to play, very bravely, the £2,000 question on natural history, and he believes Stegosaurus is the correct answer. If it is, he's in the final. Was this the correct answer? You're in the final! You are in the final with £2,000 in the bank. Well done, Mark. You're a clever man. You're here because you were stronger than anybody else, and you got that right.
If I had to have natural history, then dinosaurs was probably the one I would have liked, so that was really, really good.
And actually, your instinct was perfect, because the Stegosaurus was believed to have been extinct even before Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus and Velociraptor were on the Earth. You are in the final. Well done, Mark. That question was worth £2,000. Brilliant. So who would you like to take on to win that money? The choice is yours.
See, they're both quite cagey, but I think I'm slightly more scared of Amber, so I'm going to get rid of Amber.
Amber, I'm ever so sorry that you've fallen just before we get to the final. That must be particularly frustrating for you.
Oh, just a little bit, especially when I got that one so badly wrong.
Let's find out then. If Amber got that wrong, the man that you've decided to face in the final, Tyson, did you get that right or wrong?
I got it right.
Well. Now it does get interesting. I can also tell you, Mark, that of Amber and Tyson, Tyson's the stronger player.
Well, if I win against a strong player. That's good.
Well, there you go. If you're going to win, let's do it in style, hey?
Indeed.
So, Tyson, you're up against Mark in the final. Amber, Mark has decided that you are a bigger risk to his game. Therefore, you need to leave. Thank you very much for playing.
Thank you.
Please leave the pack. Well, £2,000 up for grabs. Mark up against Tyson. Let's play the Beat the Pack final. And here we are in the final. Now, Mark, huge congratulations. You've made it here with £2,000 in the bank, and all that now stands in your way of taking that money home is Tyson. Now, Mark, you will face 75 seconds of quick-fire questions. Keep on getting them right. You leave here a winner. However, answering correctly will take too long to give me an answer. I'll stop the clock, and Tyson will be given the chance to answer exactly the same question. Now, Tyson, all you have to do is give me 3 correct answers within the 75 seconds, and you steal every penny of Mark's £2,000. Mark, you took control at the perfect time. You went with the £2,000 answer and got it right. Are you ready now to try and win every penny of that money?
Yes, let's go for it.
All you need to do is keep control for 75 seconds. And Mark, your time starts now. Viva Forever is a stage musical featuring the songs of which band?
Spice Girls.
Correct. Oolong and Assam are varieties of which drink?
Tea.
Correct. What is the surname of the brothers Ed and David who contested the Labour Party leadership in 2010?
Miliband.
Is the right answer. In the nursery rhyme, Hey Diddle Diddle, the dish ran away with which item of cutlery?
Spoon.
Correct. Early Sunday Morning and Nighthawks are works by which American painter?
Jackson Pollock.
Stop the clock, that's incorrect. Tyson. Early Sunday Morning and Nighthawks are works by which American painter?
No idea.
The answer was Edward Hopper. You've missed your first chance to steal, Tyson. Mark, back with you. There's now 41 seconds on the clock. You're getting closer to that £2,000. Your time starts now. The national flag of which country consists of a red disc on a white background?
Japan.
Correct. The orbit of which planet is closest to the sun?
Mercury.
Is the right answer. Which chef presented the TV shows The F Word and Hell's Kitchen?
Gordon Ramsay.
Correct. The American sportsman Babe Ruth is best known as a player of which game?
Baseball.
That's the right answer. The title of a 1949 play by Arthur Miller is Death of a what?
Salesman.
Correct. In 1215, which English king sealed Magna Carta?
King John.
Is correct. In 2012, the European Ryder Cup team beat the USA by how many points?
1.
Correct. Although ultimately of African origin, time is up, I'll finish the question, Mark. Although ultimately of African origin, the dance, the samba, is from which South American country?
Brazil.
You acted like you guessed that one. If you did, then you're as good at guessing as you are at knowing the correct answer, because Mark, that was right, and you have got £2,000. Well done to Mark, what a player! Wow. And it's got a look of resignation on Tyson's face. You didn't get a look in.
I didn't. I knew most of the answers as well.
You made it into the final. That was a real achievement. Sadly, though, you walk away with nothing because Mark was simply untouchable. And now you have no excuse for not finally giving your wife that honeymoon. If I hear in a few months' time you've not been away, you'll be in trouble.
Indeed.
But thank you for being such a great player. Mark, everybody. That's how to do it. That's how to play the perfect game on Beat the Pack. And make sure you join us next time when someone else will have the chance to win up to £12,000. But as always, only if they can beat the pack. Bye-bye.